It's the Redirect Podcast. Search industry research, discussion, and analysis from the Black Truck Media and Marketing Headquarters. And now, redirecting you to the Black Truck team.
Welcome to another edition of the Redirect Podcast. This is number 4 for us here. This is Jason from the Black Truck Media and Marketing team. I have Patrick and Ashley here as well, and we're going to jump right in and get started talking about news and trends and what we've been keeping up on in the world of search engine marketing. So I'll start things off for you guys this week. So as we usually do, this is kind of round robin, and nobody really knows what who's been reading what until we go to record this. So this is always exciting because I believe in episode number 3, last episode, somebody pimped my idea. So here we go. Just came out today or yesterday, it might have been, which would have been on the Google Webmaster Central blog on better snippets for your users. And it's, so finally all of a sudden we have Google who's coming around talking more about featured snippets. So industry's been talking about featured snippets for some time now, let's say 12 plus months, and we've produced our own content on it, definitely read some good benchmark reports and how-tos from other thought leaders in the space. And so now Google has made a nice little blog post about maybe providing more indication as to what they're paying attention to, is how I read it. So historically, snippets have been pulled from a number of areas, the top 3 being content on the page, a meta page description, and DMOZ, directory listings. But the great thing is, great thing for some people, I think it's great for us, is that finally DMOZ is no longer, so Google is no longer going to pay attention to that. That's something that we've done basically and it's not called a disallow, but it's basically pay no attention to this, Google, I think for a long time, because we want to provide as much of that information to Google as possible. But it was interesting that here we are again, 2017, and we're talking about meta page descriptions. I think it's very interesting. I think a lot of people think of it as a basic thing, but it's also one of those basic things that it gets left out so often. While it might be a quick win for some, we know that it's a very easy way to improve click-through rates. Now you have Google saying, hey, we're going to look at this probably maybe more from a featured snippet perspective. They also, in this article, talk about, and we'll link to it in the show notes, they also actually do go and mention that there really isn't, what they're saying is there's not necessarily a discrimination on length for a meta page description. So I'll read it right here. Is there a character limit for meta descriptions? So from Google, there's no limit on how long a meta description can be, but the search results snippets are truncated as needed, typically to fit the device width, right? Which we've known that. We go from maybe 153 or 155 characters to be more focused on pixel width because of mobile devices and stuff. But I found that was interesting that they said,
I'm thinking about that in my head and how that would work. It's like, you can put as much content in there as you want. It's just a matter of what we're going to show you. So as a person on the backside writing that, you would just write to a period or to a pause,
correct,
to where it would truncate. But then what more do you need to add in there? I guess it's what if you're focusing on this page. Okay, I'm going to really try and get this page to become the featured snippet. Then I'm going to put a little extra beef in this page description.
Well, I think. Yeah, would you do it on those pages that you think that you would have the opportunity for the featured snippet? Would you expand on the meta page description? So on those how-to, the technical.
Yeah, on the testing, we test some pages out for like probably 6 to 12 months to see what would get crawled and grabbed. But I think the page has to be right for it. It has to be a page that's going to be like answering a question.
Yeah, it still has to go back to what we might perceive as the basic principles of why or how a featured snippet, which is, how old or what is or how to. Those typically the more technical it is, the more relevant the featured snippet might be. But I found that really interesting. Like I said, we'll link to it in the show notes for sure. But it's definitely worth a read. It's a quick read. It's nothing. Actually, from Google, it's nothing super technical. But I did find it interesting that they made the statement about that, and then again back to the whole DMOZ with them closing down. They're not going to rely on that data, so the no ODP directive kind of automatically becomes a no op. So where we would no op into that anyways. For those of you who are using, I guess, WordPress, maybe using the Yoast, the SEO for WordPress plugin, there's settings in there that you can quickly manage that, whether or not you wanted, DMOZ to be the one to control that or not. We've always selected it as no and opted out of it. Now Google's just going to automatically do that.
Right.
So even from a plugin perspective, it'll be interesting to see how Yoast reacts to this, and if they remove that feature from their plugin. But anyway, so Patrick or Ashley, what are you guys reading this week?
I queued in on DMOZ stuff. You kind of like stole half of all the talk points I wanted to talk about today. DMOZ, I every time I see anything come up with DMOZ, I kind of shudder. Previous to Black Truck, when I first got my wings in the search marketing world, I did a lot of submissions to DMOZ, and I never once saw one go active. It was the most frustrating submission process in the world. I did tons of submissions through them, and they're allotted time. It's like, this should go live in a couple weeks or something like that. It never happened. Every time I checked back, it was never there. And I just couldn't understand why the whole world was saying, well, you gotta be in DMOZ. You've got to put your company in that directory and use as many categories as you can. Get in there as many times as you can. It just felt like it was a waste of time. Nothing I got in there was working, and it was an archaic site that was back to like Alta Vista from 1998.
Throw Xenu.
It was horrible. I hated it, and so like I didn't even realize they were still active. I read the article that said they shut down in March, but only just now are they. Google is ignoring it. I didn't even know that they were using it. It just doesn't feel like it was benefiting anybody, and it was like it was a trap. I didn't like it, and I was really excited to see that it was finally stopped.
Good.
My submissions from years ago are probably still pending.
Awesome. All right, Ashley. Moving on from the depths of like internet hell from like 97 or something, 98, but.
Well, I have some things to share about content and SEO. So I have a blog post here from Search Engine People. It is called 5 Content Marketing Trends That Will Change SEO in 2017. So I won't go through all 5, but pretty interesting. There was one about live video showing up in search results for trending keywords. And just discussion that not only is live video becoming more prominent for marketing purposes, but you should also be very careful to optimize that live video when you do use it. So I thought that was a good little trend to pay attention to. And another one, it must have been, I thought it was in this article, but it must have been a different one. One article that I read today was talking about how long-form content is preferred, like 1,000 words or more. But now on this article that I'm reading, it's saying that bite-sized content will make a comeback in SERPs. So,
which correlates with what I think you touched on in our last discussion too, which was like
No fluff.
yeah, quote unquote light content
Yeah.
can rank well. Like you don't have to have this. I think there for a while even it was you had the likes of like Neil Patel saying, oh, if it's not 2,200 or 2,500 words, like those are the most authoritative sources, and I think that's still relevant for some. But who the hell's gonna read that,
well,
right?
yeah, not only who's going to read it. I mean, what it comes down to is it written well? Is it is it repeating the same information over and over again? Are you just trying to get your keywords in and
Thesaurus for
I think it's
for content?
Yeah.
I think it's the users, the makers of the content catching up with the suggestions of good quality on-page stuff, missing the quality side of it and just forcing fluff. And
yes,
the people on the search end, like the pros that are running the algorithms, are noticing that, like, okay, people are forcing 300 word count pages, and it's fluff. There's like 50 words of good data in
Yeah.
there. So now we need to refine this and say, okay, good quality sound bites need to be fleshed out as
Right.
well.
yeah.
I think
So
we're always going to see that.
Yeah, a
with
300 word piece of content can be very, very legitimate. I mean, a blog
Right.
post is 300
Yeah.
words on average, right?
Right.
300 to 500.
Yeah.
I know we tend to
Go along.
geek out and go a little longer, but if you're getting the point across, if you're writing for the human side of it and not a bunch of offers and provides, then I think you're doing everyone justice. But.
yep. And has the question, do you optimize your content for search or do you optimize for readers? So of course the answer will always be optimized for readers.
Yeah.
So it mentioned identifying long tail questions that require short bite-sized answers, and that's a good way to
Awesome.
look for those.
Moving on, I don't know if either of you caught it yet or not. I know I shared it either in email or back channel chat, but Mary Meeker's 2017 Internet Trends Report dropped on the 31st, so on Wednesday, and it's pretty lengthy, right? I mean, we're talking, what is that, like, I think this year is 350 plus slides, 355 maybe to be exact, so it's big. So if you want to kind of skim through or get the Cliff's Notes, the team at Ad Age actually did a really good job with, like, here's 12 key takeaways that you could really get from Mary Meeker's report, and I'm sure that there's going to be various flavors of this that come out here in the next couple of weeks and people analyzing her report. So the biggest that jumped out to me, mobile is obviously a big deal in our lives, in consumers' lives. So whether it's B2C, B2B, the statement that global smartphone is finally getting saturated. So it grew the statement is it grew just 3% year over year in 2016 versus 10%. So I think the adoption of the smartphone has finally gotten there, but you can't just go into a Verizon or Sprint or T-Mobile and just, like, there's a very few non-data driven non-smartphones anymore to choose from. So maybe that I don't want to call Mary Meeker out, but I'm just saying, like, this is an Ad Age thing, so maybe we can call Ad Age out to say, like, duh, like, have you bought a cell phone lately? I mean, a smartphone. What are your options, right? So that's interesting. But then also the time spent using the internet on mobile devices continues to grow, right? So desktop, laptop stays steady at 2.2 hours, a little bit more, where we're spending about 5+ hours with mobile devices in a day. And that's it's multiple interactions. It's I mean, it's why we we preach a mobile-first mentality, whether it's organic, whether it's paid. Can we reach people in a mobile device or cross-device platform? I think it's good. Those were the two that really stuck out to me, and I know that they're the ones that stick out to a lot of people, especially at age. The other one was image recognition and voice activation are increasing. And I'm going to move away from Mary Meeker's presentation and talk a little bit more about additional stuff that I've been reading on like Search Engine Watch this week too. One article actually came out yesterday on voice search and it being a digital space race. So we know who the key players are. So kind of referencing Mary Meeker on, yes, voice activation, increasingly replacing typing, especially on mobile. There's multiple reasons for that. I think even in one of our previous episodes and discussions, Patrick, you even alluded to the fact, like, I fully admit that when I'm driving, I'm like, hey Siri or okay Google. You know, you're going down the road and you're asking it questions. Mm-hmm. Not to mention we have devices in our home, but the biggest reasons why, and this was, I think it's Crowd came out with this study looking at the use of voice search. So in 2015, we had 1.7 million people using. 2016, 6.5 million. 2017, thus far, is 24.5 million, right? So it's exploded.
Wow.
Granted, this is going to be over mobile as well as home devices, personal assistants. So it's kind of all. So that could be from Google, Amazon, Cortana on up. But they provided some really good insights as to why, where we've gone down the path of natural search, natural speaking search, and working on ways to optimize that before. But said humans can speak at 150 words per minute, but only type at 40 words per minute. And I would imagine, too, that is even slower on a mobile device. So if I can just speak naturally and it can dictate what I'm saying, and it's 90% accurate, then that's okay. But the trigger point in here for me was that they said the adoption rate will not increase to the masses like it could if it's not 99% accurate. It's just because people are going to get frustrated; they're not going to trust it. Yep. You're going to ask it a question; it's going to give you, wrong information, that type of thing.
When are we going to get a search engine that's calculated out over a stenographer's keyboard?
Ooh.
Yeah, we should look into that.
Interesting.
And get that words per minute typing up there to human speak. Yeah.
So two factors that go into kind of what's going to take search usage above and beyond. So they're saying this is from Crowd. Hardware options that seamlessly integrate into all areas of person's life. So Internet of Things, right? We have clients that work in the Internet of Things space and SaaS-based products that work very well and integrate from your point of contact to the ether. And then voice recognition accuracy that surpasses a 99% threshold. And so I don't know how quickly we'll get there. I think we're definitely expanding. That new Google Pixel that's sitting on my desk right now that I have been holding off on touching. I'm anxious to play with that and play with the Google Assistant and see how that works. Whether or not I use it or not, I can tell you guys I don't know.
I was at my in-laws over the weekend, and they have the Google Home. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have one of those at the cottage, and my father-in-law was using it to play songs, play music, kid-friendly stuff, because the kids were there. And I didn't really care for it. It's not like a music player. It was, you have to ask it to play a specific song.
So it changes the experience.
Yeah, and it pulls it from YouTube. So it's not like a streaming music service.
So it doesn't pull it from Google's music service?
No. My father-in-law discovered that my kids really like the song Jingle Bells in June. So
perfect.
Yeah. So he would say, "Okay, Google, play Jingle Bells," and it would play it. It would pull it from YouTube. It's the first result. It's basically what it was playing, the first result in a SERP, And the first result when you ask him for something like that is going to be from YouTube. And when the song was over, it might just go into like another Christmas song. It's not a streaming music service. It was very frustrating, and they kept screwing it up too. And like, you're limited to what shows up first. So if you're getting like the rockabilly version of Jingle Bells or something that shows up first, you're limited to that, and you have no way to control what shows up.
Yeah, that gives a totally different experience because at least when you have a page in front of you, you can select the one that you want.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too. I'm waiting to see where it goes with the music player side of it. And I did just off the side here. I did just a quick search to see because I was curious. When would something like a Sonos, right, wireless speakers and systems, when are those going to be more integrated with the Internet of Things and personal assistants? So there's a couple articles out there. The Verge had one from back in February. There's one recently in the community from Sonos that there are some integrations through Harmony, but would Sonos take that on themselves? I think they will. I think they'll integrate. I think my prediction on that is they're either going to integrate with someone, like they're just going to say, yeah, we're going to adopt the Google side or the Amazon side, or there's got to be some sort of open source technology there they can use, but then is it an incentive for them as well?
Right.
But I agree with you. That's a different experience, right? The reason that vinyl is a trend is because it's an experience. You put it on, you drop the needle, and it plays. Same thing why Spotify and even Pandora, I want to build it off of this genre, and we talked about it last week, is that it learns, but you don't really, you don't have to think about it, I guess. I don't know where I'm going with that.
And I think in the example I gave, there's nothing to learn on that, because you can't, the command isn't there. It's like, no, not that one. That's not the song I wanted to listen to. Yeah, and it's all based on recognized commands to go back to the Google Home, and it's until they can say, give me the next result in the SERP. And then you're teaching the average layperson what a SERP is, or like a whole new set of commands and terminology that they don't know, that they have to be able to say out loud in order to filter through the different results that show up on a SERP. So you're teaching a whole second level of internet usage to generations of people that are only just learning how to use the internet.
Wow. Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about anything else?
Yes.
Anything else?
I had one. Maybe not so much a specific article, but I've recently just subscribed to the SEO subreddit on Reddit, just to kind of for S's and grins to see what people are talking about. And what I've learned is that it's mostly noobs learning how to ask questions that maybe don't have resources like we do, or maybe like people doing their own sites at home. And I read a pretty extensive post by someone in there. I think he was in a home service line of work, like HVAC or something like that. But he was made a really long post about how frustrated he was with content that's out there written on other sites of that industry, and it was all 100% fluff. There was nothing in those articles that were written for the human. It was 100% written for search engines, and it's to show up and get search. And he was expressing how difficult that is for him as a business owner, because he can't compete with that. To go full circle on that, doing some reading this week, I stumbled across an article from a source that I like to go to read on the industry, and it was an article on 3 simple steps to get a featured snippet. And I know that was a topic earlier, and it's always been a topic in this office. We always talked about it. And the article was 100% written to get the featured snippet on featured snippets. And I mean, you put how to get in 3 simple steps in the title, and then you break it all down very clean and neat, especially when you've got an authoritative site on that type of stuff. It's working to get that. And I read half the article, and then it just kind of get deep in the weeds, and it just was almost frustrating. I was almost mad reading it after associating it with that Reddit post, that this is just written for search results. It's not written for me. It's not written for a human. It's just written to get to show up in search.
Do you think the especially home services side, that's tough? We have a couple clients that are in that space, and we know how competitive it can be at the local and regional level. I often wonder, and maybe this is the DIYer in me and being able to kind of see the forest through the trees with some of that stuff, but and call it BS when you see BS, but really, like, I mean, is a homeowner, if they're searching for something related to HVAC, like, are they able to sniff out whether or not that's, like, is it a legitimate company? Is it like HVAC talk? Is it, what's the context there,
Right. The guy was expressing how it was frustrating where you keep reading it. It's like, okay, maybe the next paragraph will have the meat. Maybe the next paragraph will have the meat. And the meat never shows up. And next thing you know, you've read the whole entire article and you just wasted 5 minutes of your time trying to find something. You hit the back button, click the next article on the SERP, and the next thing you know, you've just done it again. It was a never-ending cycle for him.
Horrible.
Yeah.
So what would be the company that's doing it in the wrong way? They can't be getting business from what they're doing.
They're just showing up in search traffic. It's simply for exposure. Maybe not brand awareness, but like if someone locally, they'll put keywords scattered throughout that article and put regional terms in an effort when somebody does a search in that, like I need a new air conditioner because my air conditioner broke. Air conditioner repairman near me, that type of article. Like, how to get your air conditioner repaired in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And somebody will have an article about that. That's written in a fluff form.
Yeah.
So good content.
Good, but how do you curb it? How do you compete with it? Right.
Right.
And will but though as the usability side of it plays a deeper role into it in ranking factors and signals. It might take a while, but will that kind of come out in the wash?
Yeah.
Maybe, in terms of words of encouragement, it's back to that individual.
Yeah.
If you were to ask me, like, just how do you keep on keeping on? It's like, well, understand some of these signals and know that, like, that's not the end-all, be-all, unless that's true evergreen content that's been indexed for a long time, too.
Yeah.
But I think there's ways to, find out a way to do it better.
Right.
But
it goes back to the whole notion of Google makes these suggestions to improve to help with their recent algorithm changes. The industry gets wind of it, works on it, finds the loopholes.
Right.
Takes advantage of the loopholes,
Yeah.
and then 5 years later, Google goes, that's not really what we were thinking we meant by that, so let's reevaluate.
Exactly. All right. Do you guys have anything else to share? No?
Not today.
All right, good. So we're headed off to Search Love Boston. We fly out on Sunday, and so we'll be out there hanging with a bunch of other extremely knowledgeable SEO folks and taking in the East Coast for a little bit. So
I'm just looking forward to hearing everyone talk. The locals. Not
are you going to work on your Boston accent? Oh, all right, cool. Well, thanks to anybody listening in, tuning in. Until next time, take care.
See ya.
Bye.
This has been the Redirect Podcast. Check out the show notes at blacktruckmedia.com and add us on iTunes and Stitcher.